For decades, yeah.
You're a bad boy, you're a troublemaker. It's to them. That's not.
And their lead counsel, Kendrick Moxon, and I have crossed swords in court. So I think, Scientology is an example of a group that goes after its enemies. Keith Raniere, I think, learned from that example.
Did they ever meet? Does he have any? I just tapped right now if there's any affiliation. There's nothing connected between the two.
I have been told that one of the inner circle in NXIVM was a former Scientologist. And I was also told that at one time when Keith Raniere was suing me, he exchanged ideas or thoughts or had some kind of input from Scientology in regards to going after me. Certainly, my dead agent file was used by NXIVM. And by the way, NXIVM had me under surveillance. At one point, they were actually buying my garbage in a building that I lived in.
Scientology.
Well, very similar. And they went into my banking records and phone records. And I would eventually sue and settle with the PI company that was hired by NXIVM. So, NXIVM was, they were brutal. They were very insidious in the way that they went after people. But let me just share this. The key to understanding NXIVM is that Keith Raniere was able to recruit two heirs to the Seagram's liquor fortune, and that is Clare and Sarah Bronfman. These sisters reportedly gave Keith Raniere over $100 million.
Stop it.
Yeah. When he was arrested, there were...
Her?
Yes.
She looks like somebody that would waste that money.
Well, she went to prison for almost 7 years over NXIVM.
That's a terrible mugshot. Is that a mugshot or is that just a picture? Can you see if that's a mugshot, Rob?
Doesn't say down here.
Oh,
to be honest with you, I think that's kind of a flattering picture because I've...
Stop it.
Yeah, because I've seen Clare Bronfman.
You met her?
Yeah. I didn't meet her face-to-face, but at another court-ordered mediation, she was there representing NXIVM. She was an officer of NXIVM, the corporation. And she was scurrying around, talking to different mediators, former federal judges, trying to follow through on whatever Raniere's plan was at that mediation. But she really was a pawn of Raniere for years and years and went to prison for 7 years. And to this day, I think she would still say positive things about Keith Raniere.
She would?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to think about another guy that 20 years ago, he had his blue CD set that I listened to every one of them. And but I don't think he ended up going this far. I think to him, he was just a guy that, trying to pull up his name to see if I have it or not. I'm not talking about the great ones that change a lot of people's lives. I'm not talking Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, Nightingale, Brian Tracy. I'm not talking about any of these guys. It was a different guy. But, okay, Scientology. I've worked with Scientologists, and I will tell you, from my experience, I've never had a bad experience with Scientologists. They work very hard. I recruited people from the Sea organization. They would work 16-hour days. They were not my agents. We shared an office together selling insurance. So they ran their own agency. I ran my own agency, but we were overlapping each other, and I would help them grow their business because one of the guys, became a friend. And when we're at the office late at night, midnight, 11 o'clock, I'm finishing up my day, and I would say, well, do you know what a cyst is? We do something called a cyst. We do something, and I went to the facility. I got some of the books. I read some of the material, Dianetics and other things. I probably have a couple Dianetics copies in my office. And you see some things that are interesting. Then you read about the founder. Then things get a little bit suspicious. And like, wait a minute, and then you read Leah Remini and watch the stuff she did, or Presley. Is it Leslie Presley, if I'm saying it correctly? One of the Presleys, right? Who was the one that was...
Priscilla Presley.
Priscilla Presley.
Joined, and she brought in Lisa Marie Presley, her daughter.
That's right. So what patterns do you notice with Scientology like this? However, they've never gotten in trouble. Not they've never gotten in trouble. They're still around. They're still there. They still have their religion exemption. They still have the tax benefits. What patterns do you notice there?
Well, I think what you see is worship of the leader. I mean, Ron Hubbard is considered sacrosanct, really, and his writings are sacred. In fact, they have them written in metal and stored in a mountain to preserve them. So I think what you see typically is a kind of worship of L. Ron Hubbard, though he is dead. He was succeeded by his secretary, David Miscavige, who now occupies a similar position in Scientology.